Hello, everyone. My name is Aile Gold Babalola. I'm a certified life coach. I'm also an author of the book You Are Gold. And primarily, my work is to help women on a day-to-day basis tap more into the realities and the truths of who they are so that they can become a better version of themselves. And I'm super excited to be on Just for Women Africa today.
What inspired you to start your YouTube channel?
So the inspiration for starting my YouTube channel was really a well of information that I had on the inside of me, and I just needed to release it. The second thing was I also realized that a lot of people were coming to me for the same topics over and over again. And the truth is, as you get older, as you get more, get more responsible in the things that you have to do in your personal life, you start seeing that you're not able to cater to each person, one person at a time. And I realized that I could make videos that could go out to people at the same time, touching the same topics. That was a primary reason on why I started.
What content do you focus on and how has it evolved?
Sure thing. So I really started off speaking on relationships and faith-based topics. Over time, I've morphed into talking about, femininity on, setting goals and how to achieve those goals and tapping more into your potential and, those resources that are already inbuilt within you.
What strategies have driven your channel growth over the last past 5 years?
So for me, I would say one of the biggest things that has helped me grow my channel, my brand, is really an understanding of providing value to people. Once you are valuable, a person of value, people are attracted to you and to that value that you provide. People are looking for results. So when you're able to provide valuable results, almost like a word of mouth type of thing, people are able to share with other people around you. So that's one of the biggest ones. The second thing would be social media, using, platforms such as TikTok and Instagram have been one of the ways to, drive that traffic to those long form videos and content on YouTube.
How was your transition from your home country to the US?
So I've just recently relocated from Nigeria to America, and very exciting because it's something I was looking forward to. I got married and I had been doing long distance with my husband for close to 3 years of marriage, and all, all our dating experience, every single thing was all virtual. So I was very, very excited to, be moving and starting off, this phase of my life. However, when I got here, I think the realities of things kind of set in for me. Now, I didn't have like my family or, my sisters or, just my friends around me. Very new city, very new environment. It was quite tough initially. Thank God, obviously I did have my partner who was there for me and, to be that support system, but you also come to realize that it could be quite lonely sometimes, especially when you're new and still building community. But overall, I would say it's been a very great experience and a huge learning curve.
What advice do you have for someone relocating for love or marriage?
Well, if you're planning on relocating, I would always say, and this is an advice I give to most women who are around me, I always tell them make sure first that you are even marrying or married to the right person, someone who is a safe space for you, someone who makes you feel welcome, someone who feels like home. That's the most important thing because relationships are real. The struggles that people go through are real. But when you have someone who you're on the same page doing life with, it's absolutely phenomenal and it makes it so much easier. The other thing is that you have to just set your mind that you're going to be moving to a new place depending on where you're moving to. So I think if you can research ahead of time before you get to that place that you're moving to, maybe you could join some communities, join volunteer groups, or just pre-plan what you want to do when you get there so so that when you get into that new country, you're not lost, you're not lonely, you don't fall into any sort of anxiety or depression or just the things that come, with such a move, and pre-planning what you would like to do before you even get there. That was one of the big things for me. So, for example, for me, I already knew that, okay, I'm going to be relocating. And one of the things I want to do to keep me busy, at least in the first few months when I do that, is to create YouTube videos. So I went ahead and pre-planned, pre-recorded my whole immigration process. And once I got here, I was able to, occupy myself with, researching, editing, making those videos even better and putting it out there for other people who were planning or who are planning or in the process of actually relocating to the US. So pre-planning your a strategy for, your means of livelihood and living is one of the biggest things. So if you can learn a trade, learn a skill, those things are things that will help you when you do move. And I also saw that I was also part of a group that engaged in, we had conversations on immigration. One of the things that people did on there, they learned, things from tech. They learned soft skills. They learned several skills just to prepare themselves when they got here.
What advice do you have for maintaining a long distance relationship?
If you're in a long distance relationship, I feel you. I definitely understand. Some days are harder than others. I just want to let you know, like, just keep that friendship going between you and your partner. Make sure lines of communication are very clear and very open. Communicate often. If you can call, text, just keep the communication going because once communication stops, problems come in and you don't want that. The distance is already a barrier and you don't want to create those extra unnecessary barriers. So make sure that both of you are on the same page, like I mentioned earlier, and then make sure that you are communicating as frequently as possible. Also know that nothing keeps you, even though you might not be in person, you can still keep your relationship going. You can plan dates. For example, one of the things that my husband and I were able to do over long distance is we had Zoom dates where we would watch a movie or we would have dinner over Zoom. We would order food and eat together. It might have at that time because we had different time zones. We're in different time zones. So I would be eating dinner when it was like very, very late his own time. And then sometimes it would be morning his time and night my time. So just coming to a place of understanding, of compromise, of making things work, regardless of the situation that you're in, is absolutely priceless.
Did you ever doubt that your long distance relationship would last?
Okay, so for us, we started off on a very great note, very good note. I never for one day doubted the reality of, my choice, my decision. We never really faced that. So I can't really place an answer to that. It's been good from the start, and it's still good now.
What inspired you to write Are You Gold?
You Are Gold is my book. I just released it about a year ago. The purpose of that book is, like I mentioned earlier, I am a certified life coach, and same, almost like with my YouTube channel, where women will come up to me and they're asking me the same questions. I saw that during my coaching sessions, women were coming up with almost the same problems over and over again. So I decided to package my expertise into that book called You Are Gold, helping women to understand um, the primary truths of who they are. Inherently, you are priceless. Regardless of the situations, the circumstances that you have gone through, you are priceless. And I gave an example in that book of how I had a gold bracelet that my friend's mom had given to me. I didn't even know it was gold. For years, I wore it I did every single thing you can think. I went to, I showered with it. I went to the pool with it. I went through just so many life scenarios and, situations with that gold bracelet. And I realized that it never tarnished. So after wearing it for several years, I started looking at it and asking, like, wow, is this really real gold? And why would my friend's mom give me this valuable, possession? And I went to check and I realized that it was really authentic, real gold. And when I realized that, I was like, oh my God, this bracelet I have had for close to at least 15 years now. Till today, I have that bracelet. And I've seen that despite the circumstances I went through in my life, the different, you know, scenarios I've been through, going to school, maybe having a job, not having a job, volunteering, traveling, every single thing. I've worn that bracelet almost every single day. And it still shines and glistens regardless of what I have gone through with it. I've worked out with it. I've, just gone through several strenuous events that I've put that bracelet under. And it's still maintained its properties. It's still beautiful. It's still shining. It's still gold. And I wanted to let women know that if that bracelet can stand the test of time, can stand the test of heat, can stand the test of pressure, can stand the test of me not even knowing its worth, how much more you as a woman, regardless of what you go through, regardless of the traumas, regardless of the heartbreaks, regardless of the job loss, regardless of whatever you might go through in your life, you are still inherently valuable and there's so much more for your future. So to put that in a nutshell, I wrote that book to help women realize that regardless of the circumstances you go through, and I did, list a couple of my own setbacks, my own, seemingly failures in my life. I am still a woman of value, great worth, an asset that is still waiting to happen and happening as life is going.
What was the writing and publication process like for you?
I'm a self-published author, meaning I didn't go through having a publisher or a publishing house work with me. Working through that, especially I did this in Nigeria, was not that easy. But then again, I did my research before I started the process, from compiling the ideas to working with several editors to go through, to make sure that every single, you know, I is dotted and T is crossed. I worked through with several editors, both in the United States and in Nigeria as well. I worked with a few editors to make sure that everything was prim and proper, perfect before working through, the printing process and all of that. But I do encourage people, there are two routes to go. You can self-publish or you can go with the more traditional route with a, publisher. But overall, it wasn't an easy process, but it wasn't difficult. So if anybody out there wants to ever, write a book, you can definitely do that. Proper research, give yourself a timeline, and stick to the goals that you have made.
Do you plan to expand your brand beyond YouTube and writing?
So yes, definitely. I see myself expanding more. While some things are still in the works, I do believe that my potential is very large, and the more I'm able to tap into it, the better for me. But yeah, I also have a show, The Gold We Show. I'm not sure if you have seen that. So this is where I have conversations with women. One thing I realized is that conversations are instrumental to transformation. So in this seemingly very simple conversations, we are able to find gold nuggets that are able to help our lives and transform people. So yes, aside YouTube, aside my brand, I do have that, and there are other things in the works.
Are there any collaboration or dream projects you love to pursue?
Okay, great. Are there any collaborations or dreams projects you'd love to pursue?
Wow, yes. I do have a few in mind. I hope one day that I will be able to work with, certain names such as Oprah or Jennifer Hudson. There's so many people that I would love to work with and collaborate with in the near future. And even people who are, maybe not mainstream names yet, but there are a lot of people that I've already even started, collaborating with and working with in the life coaching space, in the, you know, in the social media spaces as well.